Hi.
Hola.
Hi, hier ist Mr. Döse.
This is Michael Bradley.
Hey, I'm Memphis.
Hey.
Hola. Hello.
I'm here with soccer.com.
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 And I'm talking with my friends soccer.com.
See you soon.
Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new Adidas Messi 16.2 in the Mercury pack colorway. Now this is the first takedown model in the new Messi 16 lineup. As the two top-end models, you have the Messi 16 Plus Pure Agility with a $300 retail price. Below that, you have the 16.1 with a $200 retail price. And then below that, as the first takedown model, you have this guy right here, the 16.2, which retails for $130, $70 less than the model above it. And as you can see, it does have some similarities in the upper to that top-end 16.1 and 16 Plus model, but it does also have its fair share of differences, both of which we're going to be talking about in today's video, and basically determining whether or not this is worth the $130 asking price. So if you want to learn more about the Messi 16.2, stick around and watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair for yourself, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find Buy It Now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $130 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's talk tech specs and performance. Now, the Messi 16.2 is the first takedown model in the current Messi lineup, with the 16.1 and the 16 Plus above it, both with full agility knit uppers. On the 16.2, you do get some agility knit on the upper, which you can see here at the front. The cutoff point is right here on the lateral side on a diagonal, kind of halfway through the shoe, goes all the way through the forefoot and toe box area, and then cuts off on the in the forefoot area here on the medial side, where the rest of the shoe is, in all honesty, a very, very cheap synthetic material, both in terms of look as well as feel. And given that this is a $130 shoe, I understand completely that they have to make it not as good as the models above it, but it just doesn't come across as a $130 shoe quality-wise, in my opinion. So that is, again, one of my main gripes with this particular model. I don't think that this is a bad shoe by any means, but for $130, you can get an older model from Adidas, Nike, whatever brand it may be, a top-end older model on sale for that price. It's going to be heads and tails better quality than what you get right here at the full $130 retail price with the Messi 16.2, and that is the honest truth, guys. It's a shoe that is okay in all honesty, but it's nothing more than that. I really feel like this could easily be the $80 price point model, and I wouldn't think much of it even at that price. So the agility knit here at the front, again, while you do get it on the top end Messi models, I didn't really care for it all that much, or don't really care for it all that much, even on the higher end models. It's a material that feels really soft to the touch, but when the shoe's actually on your foot, it has a much more rigid sensation than you would expect. Basically, it's a mesh-based synthetic with polyurethane over top. It's a very, very open, kind of loose mesh base, but because the mesh layer is so thin, you just kind of get more of a plasticky sensation from it in the form of the liner as well as the top polyurethane layer to cover up the mesh in the first place. So yes, it's thin, yes, it does provide a barefoot feel, but like I said, it does feel a lot more rigid and not quite as comfortable as you might expect given other mesh-based synthetics that are out there from other brands. The synthetic that they featured here in silver is very, very cheap. It's, again, what you would expect on an $80 price point shoe, if not even a lower price model. It just doesn't feel good. There's nothing about it that comes across as premium at all. It's not uncomfortable by any means, but like I said, it's not what I expect at the $130 price point. It does have the burrito style tongue, as you guys can see, where basically from the medial side of the shoe, the upper wraps over across the top of your foot, kind of ending here on the lateral side. And just like the Messi 16.1, it does have the kind of elasticated strap right here on the inside to prevent it from, I guess, opening up too far, which isn't necessarily something that I think is a great aspect of either the 16.1 or the 16.2, mainly because it doesn't allow you to get your foot in all that easily. It's a little bit of a tight squeeze just because you can't open up the opening of the shoe all that much. So once your foot's in there, it's fine, but it does become a little bit of a hassle to actually get your foot inside of the shoe. They did incorporate a little bit of that mesh kind of exposed here at the top of the tongue area to make things a little bit more easy, but it's still a little bit of a struggle to put them on. The lacing system, because it is with this burrito style tongue, it's ever so slightly off-centered, being pushed to the lateral side of the shoe, but for the most part doesn't feel that much different than a central lacing system. Not uncomfortable, this burrito style tongue, when the shoe is on your foot, but something that honestly I think is slightly unnecessary now that I've had some opportunity to wear the new Messi 16.1 and as well as the 16.2 model. Moving on to the rear shoe, it does obviously have a low cut. Nothing fancy going on here. Internal plastic heel counter, pretty standard cut at the very back with the Achilles tendon area. The inside heel liner is a pretty nice synthetic suede material with some decent padding back there. Insole fully removable. Basically what you're going to find on the higher end model, mesh liner on top. Single layer of this foam, nothing too fancy, but it does get the job done. And then moving on to the sole plate and stud pattern, the sole plate is not a sprint frame like you're gonna find on the models above it, which does impact the weight of the shoe, something we'll take a look at in just a second. This is basically just a carryover sole plate from the Messi 15.2, where it's multiple layers of plastic that, again, increases the weight of the shoe. Not quite as flexible as what you're gonna find from the sprint frame sole plate either. And the stud pattern, for the most part, is identical. That was a carryover coming from the original Messi 15 models. It's now in the Messi 16s, and it works pretty well. It's an FG-AG stud pattern. Not really too far off layout-wise in terms of what we've been seeing from Adidas for the last couple of years. The studs are triangular in shape, just a little bit more narrow in profile than a lot of the past stud patterns. And then, of course, they have rounded tips at the very front as well as the very back. The overall performance, though, again, not too far off from previous FG stud patterns from Adidas, and you can use it on artificial grass as well, although I will say it definitely does feel like more of an FG stud pattern than a true AG stud pattern. So it works well on both surfaces. It shouldn't cause you any issues as far as discomfort, stud pressure, or durability is concerned, but it does get the job done, and that's really what it comes down to. You're going to find very similar performance from all the current stud patterns on offer from Adidas, which again, not all that surprising. So that's pretty much it as far as performance and tech specs go with the Messi 16.2. There isn't a whole lot going on, and for me, the main gripe that I have is not that this is a bad shoe, but I don't think that this is a great option at all given the $130 asking price. In terms of weight, I thought we'd compare the Messi 16.2 to the model above it, the 16.1, to see if there's any significant weight difference between the two, given the design changes that they've made with the two models. So we're going to weigh both shoes for you today in real time using this scale. Keep in mind they're both in brand new condition and both the exact same size 9 US. So we're going to start off with the top end 16.1, which does have a sprint frame sole plate. Throw that on the scale. You can see that they weigh in at 6.8 ounces, the equivalent of 192 grams, which is actually very, very light. Change the scale back 2 ounces. Remember that, 6.8 ounces. Pull these off and we'll throw on the Messi 16.2. And you can see that they weigh in at 8.7 ounces, the equivalent of 247 grams. So a pretty significant weight difference. They essentially weigh 2 ounces more, which is a lot. It's noticeable both in hand as well as on feet. And I really don't think you should compare these two shoes because they're just in different classes quality-wise. Again, the synthetic that they've used on this particular shoe is pretty cheap. Not necessarily the agility knit, but the rest of it that you see in solid silver. Again, not something I would expect on a $130 shoe. And because of the lack of sprint frame, that's really where you see the major weight increase. So if you're looking for a lightweight feel, you'll get that from the $200 Messi 16.1. While the 16.2 isn't heavy, just being under 9 ounces, it isn't particularly light either. So just keep that in mind if you are picking these up with the expectation that they're going to feel anything like the models above it. As far as aesthetics go, again, I really am not crazy about the look of this shoe, especially at the $130 price point. They look like significantly cheaper shoes to me. That's just my opinion, but feel free to leave yours down below in the comment section. The agility knit at the front does look like premium material, but then when it transitions into the silvery synthetic with this really interesting finish that they have on there, it just looks cheap, it feels cheap, and again, it just doesn't look like this shoe is as expensive as it is. Right here on the medial side, you have the Messi logo that's embossed. It's kind of silver on silver. This particular shoe does have black laces with metallic silver strips running through. You have the Adidas stripes in matte black on the lateral side, the Adidas logo in orange right there on the back of the heel, blue heel liner, blue insole, and then the sole plate is a combination of black and silver with black studs. So again, I don't necessarily think that the design of the Messi line is bad, but I really think that the combination of what looks like a nice material in contrast with a really, really low quality looking material just doesn't look the best. But again, let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the on-feet portion of the video so we can get a better idea as to how these shoes fit and of course what the sizing is like. All right, so here is a look at the Messi 16.2s on feet. On my left foot, I have the stock laces that come with the shoes, and on my right foot, I have a pair of blue camo SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. Find a direct link to that website down below in the description of this video. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, they're honestly not uncomfortable, but they, again, don't necessarily feel like $130 shoes to me. The overall shape and fit isn't too far off the Messi 16.1, but the synthetics they have through the midfoot of the shoe just don't feel the greatest. It's not the most flexible, especially with this burrito tongue style construction that they have for the upper. It does have a little bit of a kind of chafing sensation closer towards the top of the foot. Again, just because the material lacks flexibility, unlike the agility knit upper there at the front, and obviously the agility knit upper that you would have on the 16.1 variation, that again, just feels more natural on your foot. The heel does fit a little bit shallow, but that's something that's kind of consistent with the entire Messi 16 lineup, not just the 16.2 model. And again, there's nothing that's terribly wrong with the feel of this shoe. I just don't care for the synthetic material that they've used for the majority of the upper, mainly through the midfoot. As far as fit is concerned, it does have a tighter fit overall. Like I mentioned earlier, it is a little bit difficult to get on because of the burrito style tongue and the fact that you can't really open up the shoe because it is fastened there on the lateral side. But once they're on, they fit pretty well, not a lot of extra space on the inside. And for the most part, it's a tighter fitting shoe. If you don't mind that, you're probably gonna fit in these just fine. But if you do have really wide feet, maybe not the best option for you. And as far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. All right, guys, that is it for my review of the Adidas Messi 16.2. If you guys are interested in more info, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find the high quality images of this exact pair that I took myself. That'll give you a better idea as to how they actually do look in person. And you'll also find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick them up below their normal $130 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions at all regarding this shoe, leave them down below in the comments, and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.